Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another rider, another story. Today we have a guy, I've just picked him up from the hospital. He has confessed to being a mummy's boy. He's such a mummy's boy, he refers to Natalie's son, and he's a public school boy, I assume. But he's in robotics, and he's going to tell us all about his career in robotics, how he got into it, what motivates him, and what his overall ambitions are. So nice to have you here today.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's great. So tell us, how did you get in? What made you want to do AI? Is it AI?
It is AI in robotics, yeah.
What made you want to do that?
To put it short, it's the future.
Okay.
And in particular, being a minority opened my eyes to the fact that there are people making decisions about the way the future will turn out who are reliant on methods that are opaque to people who don't have specialized degrees and who aren't educated in things like AI and robotics. So I think it's important to have people who are representative of the kind of people who are living in London, who are people who are living over the world, who know how these things work. That's a very good. That's a political. What, are you an Eton guy? No.
Well,
I grew up in Lewisham, my man. I grew up in Lewisham.
What's in Lewisham, my man? Cup of tea, my
council flat.
Okay. No, but I don't get it wrong. I like what I'm hearing. It actually brings it enlightens me, because I never really thought of that. We need to be spread out across all industries to make sure, as we're here involuntarily, a lot of us, that we need to make sure that we're what's going on, and we're part of that, because it can affect us in different ways, as you just pointed out, which is great. So you've done a degree in robotics. Still
partway through it.
Still partway through it. How are you finding that?
It's really enjoyable, actually. The pandemic has made it less so, but it doesn't feel like work to me.
But surely you could just do research at home.
I could. Unfortunately, though, if you want to be able to get into any kind of reputable company, or if you want to go into academia, you need a degree behind you.
Oh no, what I meant is you do your degree, but you, even though the pandemic's on, there's loads of research you can do
of course.
online. Is it something I read one time, a documentary I didn't read, it's a lie, I don't read much, but anyway, this documentary was saying originally that science, there was one point in society before the war where everybody shared their information.
Yes.
So science was really booming.
Yeah.
Because people say, I found this out, let's say put it on, an open forum. Yeah. And people were, and then when the war came, there became this idea, we can't tell them this, we can't tell them that, because the science led to developing weapons of mass destruction and all that kind of thing. And they kind of carried that on since then. So what I'm saying to you, Natalie's son, is AI like that, or is it real secretive still? So I know you've got different sides of AI.
Yes,
you've
absolutely.
You've got the armoured division, kind of drones. Putting chips in children, in people. Like child warfare, AI robotics. Well, what kind of, is it like that, and what kind of AI are you interested in?
Right, so on the subject of secrecy and whether there's information sharing between groups of AI researchers, it's a difficult question to answer definitively, because there are companies who have a vested interest in making sure that their algorithms and their methods remain opaque to the world, because it's how they get to their edge.
Elon Musk is not one of them.
He doesn't seem to be one of them, but he's an exception because he's concerned about the future of AI. He can see it turning malevolent and potentially harming society if it's not checked. So he's an exception to the rule. But I think for the most part in academia in particular, people are content and happy to share their work with others. It's how you get recognition, and I think most people just want to see the state of the art advance. They don't really want to be the only one in the world who knows how something works. There are always going to be people who misuse and abuse AI.
Because in truth, people can always take your technology, take it apart and work out how it works.
Yes, yeah.
Which is the age-old thing of working out how something works. Smash it up and then see how if you can put it back together again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what motivates you personally to do that job every day? And what does your university course entail?
Okay. So speaking to motivation, I suppose you have to give yourself a reason to get up out of bed every morning, and I feel as though I could have a positive impact on the world by studying something that I'm good at. Mm-hmm. It's also a subject that just holds a lot of interest for me. I don't feel like I have to psych myself up each day to study it. It's something that naturally compels me.
Okay.
And then my course, it's a mixture of programming, learning how to write code.
So do you deal with biology as well?
So there are modules that we can take that draw on biology. So they say, oh, this is how the human brain works. We can kind of get computers to mimic it in a very crude way.
Because it just comes to mind that AI must cover biology, chemistry, physics, and like the psychological side of human
absolutely
nature.
yeah.
So it's quite a vast area.
Yeah, it intersects all of those branches of science. In fact, there's a company called DeepMind.
Yep. Elon Musk. Is that Elon Musk?
It was actually founded by a guy who did his postgraduate degree at UCL and was.
Is that where you're at?
No, I'm at King's College.
Okay.
I think the company was later then purchased by Google, but they were just in the news for having solved this big problem in biology that should have implications for cancer research and perhaps even for curing diseases. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of overlap between the sciences and AI.
Because if you look at Tesla, I refer back to Elon Musk because he's everywhere on social media as well, but he's not patented his stuff, has he?
I'm not sure if he has. It would surprise me if he hadn't patented some of the internal mechanisms in the Tesla vehicles, because then anyone who had a manufacturing line could be his competitor. But I think generally
he's left the information open, so he's patented it, but left it. I think
right. Okay.
So he's saying basically you can see, but you can't copy it.
Right. Okay.
But this is so I want you to do better.
Yeah.
Than what I've done.
That sounds very much in character for him. He does seem to be.
I admire that. I am a bit concerned, and I'm interested to hear your point of view about the putting chips in pigs' brains to read the neurological thing. He said he's going to be able to do that to your human being in 5 years.
Yeah.
Woo, I don't know where he. To make sure I don't go to jail or something.
So I'm skeptical about claims that we'll be able to interface with human brains in the near future. I do think it's possible in principle. But I can't see it happening within the next 5 years.
Well, if you think about this though, the nervous system, and you probably know more about this than me, when you get an amputee, they get those fake arms now, or limbs, that can work on the nerves.
Yes, yeah.
That knows what nerves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a start.
Oh, it is. Yes, a huge start. Yeah.
I know that with the pigs, when they've been putting these chips in the pigs' brains, they've been reading their neurological waves. They don't understand them, I say, but they've been kind of trying to work out what the pig is thinking, or why it's behaving a certain way based on the patterns that they're seeing. Mm-hmm. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. In principle, it makes sense that you could map nerve readings to intentions, to move a muscle, and I can't see any reason why in the future we wouldn't be able to get even more information out of someone's brain by reading neural impulses.
Okay. Last but not least, quick questions. What have you learnt that you wish you knew when you started your degree?
does this have to be academic in particular, or just anything?
Anything.
What have I learned that I wish I knew? I suppose coming from a family in which no one has been to university, the whole experience was foreign to me. So if I could have told myself anything, it would have been that it doesn't share any likeness at all to when you do your GCSEs or you go to sixth form and you do your A-levels. It's all about taking your own initiative and learning on your own, which fortunately has worked out for me, but it did require an adjustment.
Okay, that's good. And my last question is, what's the impact you want to have on the world? Looks like you're going to be able to change quite a few things.
I hope to be able to. I just want to leave it a better place than it was when I came into it. Okay. That's all I can say. I'd like to be able to make some grand claims about exactly what I'll do, but who knows really.
Yeah, Tesla car, iPhone, integrated phone for Tesla.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
And much appreciated.
No problem, boss.
We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.